Welcome back to the third Mechanical Engineering and Metalworking Business Forum here in Riga, and we continue our program with one very interesting panel discussion, new markets for the Latvian mechanical engineering industry. And I want to welcome the moderator for this panel discussion, Managing International Policies at Royal Metal Uni, Paul Verlinden. Welcome. The stage is yours, please.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the program. I hope that you had a good small break. It's an honor for me to be your moderator today on this session on new markets for the Latvian mechanical engineering industry. And let me thank special our friends from LIAA in Riga and in Amsterdam for our good collaboration. I'm actually in The Hague right now. And of course, a warm welcome to our 7 presenters today, whom I will introduce to you shortly. For the next hour, we are going to talk about international business. And in a way, I'm sure that doing business abroad must be, for all of you, feel like a second nature, as it does for us here in Holland. We are both among the tiniest countries in the EU, and so our internal markets are relatively small. Our production capacities, however, are expanding, and so expanding into new markets is a must for many of us. And so I guess that many of you are already being active doing business in Europe. And just like Latvia, the majority of our exports are within Europe. And classically, most of it is just in our neighboring countries. And that counts the same for you, as I saw that your exports are mostly into, for example, countries like Lithuania and Sweden. The world is much bigger than Europe, and of course today in easy reach for all of us. And well, we're not talking about Corona today, and let's hope that sometime soon we leave this so impactful period behind us. In fact, the biggest economical growth is not within Europe, but it is outside. And so we all have the good reasons to talk today about exporting to the world. Now, I am Paul Verlinden. I represent the Dutch Association for Mechanical Engineering Companies in the Netherlands, Koninklijke Metaalunie. Compare us with your organization, MASOC. We represent mainly SMEs in a very wide range of sectors, like machine building industry, the agricultural, technical industry, and the automotive and building industry. But let's start. Let me introduce the speakers to you today. All of them are asked to give a short presentation of around 3 minutes. And after that, there will be enough time, hopefully, for questions. So please ask questions. You should have a place on your screen where you can type in the questions, and we will talk about that later. Our first speaker is Mr. Peter Lapins, Head of European Operations from BW Papersystems. Secondly, Mr. Ģirts Ozoliņš, CEO of Ēriks Synths. Then we have Mr. Aivars Flemings, the Chairman of the Management Board of Valpro. Mr. Ēriks Bēdiķis, Chairman of the Management Board of ISP Optics. Mr. Arnis Petrānis, Chairman of the Management Board of PERUZA. And we have Mrs. Alina Aščepkova, Head of LIAA office in Japan, and last but not least, Mr. Dainis, Rācenis, International Project Manager of MASOC. I suggest that we start with our first speaker, Mr. Peter Lapins. The floor is yours, Peter.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me? Yes? Okay.
Very well.
Okay, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I'm going to share my screen. Are we good? Can you see that? Yes, can we see my first tile? Okay. I'll assume that's an affirmative. So I represent a US-based company by the name of Barry Waymiller. We are primarily a machine manufacturer. We sell worldwide. We're a privately held company out of the USA. So I wanted to first talk about our history. We started 135 years ago, and in St. Louis, Missouri, USA, right in the middle of the country. And we produced for 100 years primarily two machines only, pasteurizers and bottle washers for the brewing industry. And that was really all we did up until the late 80s. And what occurred was we then had a German company that produced a machine that completely leapfrogged us in technology. And our sales went from close to 100 million a year down to zero in basically 1 year. And this created some threat of insolvency, and it caused a bit of a wake-up call for our CEO, Mr. Bob Chapman. We simply had to change our profile risk. And so you fast forward to today, and he entered other markets starting in the 80s. So you fast forward to today, and we've now acquired over 110 companies worldwide, and our annual turnover is now greater than 3 billion USD. These two charts illustrate where we are today and some of the growth that we've gone through. So the chart on the left, while it has no years on it, the beginning of it is that time that I spoke of, where in the late 80s we had insolvency threats, and then we began our growth strategy and acquiring companies worldwide. That small dip you see here, that is the financial crisis of 2009. And as you can see, we came out of that with a steeper growth curve and based upon some of the strategies that he had implemented. Now, the chart on the right, it shows the many industries that we now serve. Recall, for 100 years, all we served was the brewing industry with two basic machines. And now we have a bit more of a balanced portfolio, and these are the different industries that we serve. Well, you know, some of them may not seem so sexy. They were rather recession-proof, and during these COVID times, we found that many of these industries were deemed essential industries, and so our business performed quite well during these COVID times. This slide represents the way we break down those companies. So when we make an acquisition, we fold it into one of our existing platforms. And so the company that I represent is shown down there on Papersystems, but this is generally the different industries and the breakdown of how we do it. Many of these are packaging equipment suppliers. We do have some consulting, but I want to stress the fact that we're packaging equipment suppliers. And then finally, this slide illustrates the company that I represent. We serve the paper industry with machinery worldwide. We manufacture in the USA, we manufacture in Germany, in Hungary, in Italy, and in China and Taiwan most recently. So, so I guess with that company that's based in the US, with our many industries served, with the many countries that we've expanded into, I hope to offer a perspective that you may find useful. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Lapins, for your presentation. I just have a quick look if there are any questions so far. If there are not, I suggest...
No, we can continue.
No, I don't see any questions
yes,
for now.
we continue. Yeah,
we can continue. Okay, very, very good. Let's go to the next presentation then. Mr. Ģirts Ozoliņš. Welcome, and also for you, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so Ēriks, since maybe is less known company for people around here, because compared to other panelists and other presenters, we make comparably tiny things. We develop and manufacture electronic musical instruments, and by time being, these are modular synthesizers mainly. So if somebody wonders how the modular synthesizer looks like, it's something like this, you know. How it works, we make individual modules, and then musicians assemble them into larger systems. So they make customized musical instruments that exactly fit their needs of or their ideas how music should be produced. So system looks like this. And also this year was like huge breakthrough for us because we started making also standalone instruments, which was a huge success this year. So it's a baseline synthesizer, and we had some collaboration with record label Ninja Tune, and this is another experimental synthesizer which blew head of most leading musicians worldwide. If shortly about a company, it was established on 2013 in my bedroom, literally, but on 2015 we had like team in place, and we started expanding our operations. It's a privately owned company. All company owners actually work in a company, so we are 3 of us, and 99.9% of our products go export. We have over 20,000 B2C customers worldwide and over 50 retailers all over the world. And we have a team of 6 people, and we have a cat, which is marketing specialist in our company. If you wonder who the hell is using these strange instruments, this is my colleague and business partner Kodek performing a live set together with Jean-Michel Jarre in his Paris studio. So at the moment we have over 300 SKUs available from our web shop and through our retailers, and I am proud to say that all products are developed and manufactured in Latvia. And if we take like global perspective, we are one of largest, if not the largest, modular synthesizer manufacturer in the world. And we always do some summary of year. And then last year we launched 39 new products, which means almost a product per year. And product, in our understanding, is inventing what we have to make, how it's made, develop schematics, develop industrial prototypes, and actually manufacture it and announce it for sale and sell it actually. So almost a product per week. So this is only possible because I strongly believe that Latvia has the best infrastructure in the world for electronics manufacturing, because we have all necessary categories in place. So how we manage that with this small team, because we have 3 factories which assembly electronics for us. We have a warehousing and logistics company where we have integrated online systems to send out orders. We have enclosures and panels manufacturing, which is more connected to metal manufacturing, EHT fabric. We have powder coating, silk screen, and packaging. So altogether, with this small team, allowed us to become one of the largest modular synthesizer manufacturers in the world. I've spoken.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Ozoliņš. That was great to hear that. Thank you for your pitch. I suggest that we quickly go on to the next speaker, which is Mr. Aivars Flemings.
Yeah, the Valpro is a company with long last history, and it's metalworking in Valmiera starting from 1944 after Second War. In 1959, the Soviet Union decides the jerrycan production moved to Valmiera, and it's a beginning in jerrycan production. Till now, this company produced 31 million of jerrycans, which is well known all around the world. 1963, it's an important year for company Valpro. It's a time where divided in Valmiera furniture company, service company, and metalworking separately. Nowadays, Valpro, it's a company with 380 employees. Last year, turnover at 17.6 million. Company have more than 70 professions, qualified improvement programs, trainings, course, social activities, and one of our company targets, it's change everything each minute. Yeah, it's quality, capacity, etc. Of course, for producing monthly approximately 80,000 jerrycans, 60,000 fire extinguisher cylinders, and approximately together 200,000 different products, we need a lot of technology, and Valpro have all of them: pressing, deep drawing, welding, machining. Of course, we have our sales channels all around the world. It's more than 33 countries directly, but after the products moving to other countries. Yeah, our main market is Germany, where we approximately 1/3 of turnover going to Germany. Yeah, but we have long history from Soviet time. When the collapse of few Soviet countries, yeah, then customers who at that time using our products starting to look where it's produced and understand it's in the Valmiera. Yeah, and we have a partner in Australia, it's Prokip, who till 2008 be one of our shareholders and give a lot of knowledge and trainings for company to how to deal with our products in other part of the world. Currently, we sell to USA 10% of our products, and we looking very positively in this other part markets, USA, Canada, and other countries. We know the jerrycans, it's not a very popular product. More popular, it's a plastic, but if we looking nowadays, yeah, the environment things possible to use secondly materials, it's very important. Company have a financial year till end of September, and last year we have turnover 12% more before, and one of reasons it's for us, it's we know it, but we not think it's be so positive. Yeah, it's accident, naft product decreasing, and of course, end of current situation, it's a product which it's related with coronavirus problems. Yeah, the people it's stuck in the home and they need the reserves. When you planning go to this part of markets, you need to very deeply to understand what is the difference between Europe and USA markets, yeah, and it's absolutely clearly if in Europe we have CE marking UN number for dangerous liquid things, yeah, than in American part, yeah, it's more use the customer product safety testing. And it's big difference, yeah, and for my mind, manufacturers from USA part, it's more easy to come in Europe than vice versa. If you would like to more information about our company, you have in presentation some additional slides. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Flemings, we have to keep moving on, but thank you very much for your interesting presentation. Also a truly international company, very good to see that. And for the audience, please keep asking questions. I don't see questions coming in yet, but please send your questions on the screen. We will talk about that later. Now, let's move on quickly, I suggest, to Mr. Ēriks Bēdiķis, Chairman of the Management Board of ISP Optics.
Thank you very much. Good morning, dear participants. My name is Ēriks Bēdiķis, and I am General Manager in ISP Optics Latvia. Few words about our company. ISP Optics Latvia belongs to the LightPath group. We have 3 facilities, and they are in following countries. Headquarters is in USA, in Florida, and covers American markets. ISP Optics Latvia covers European Union and Middle East countries markets, and China facility covers Asian market. Total company revenue last year was almost $37 million, and the employees count 340. What we are producing? ISP Optics Latvia produce lenses and lens assemblies for thermal vision. We have several polishing technologies here, and we utilize about 35 types of materials that conduct heat in different wavelengths. Our lenses can be used for different markets for different purposes. As a samples you see on the screen, our customers use thermal vision lenses in medical equipment, for instance, to measure temperature when we're entering shopping malls or airports, etc. Hunters use thermovision scopes when hunting at night, and firefighters see where the fire is in a building from outside, not entering the building. Our lenses also used in military programs for different products like weapon scopes, helms, missiles, surveillance cameras, etc. And in civil sector like digital spectroscopy and for telecom. Few words about about the facility, what's situated in Latvia. ISP Optics Latvia is, first of all, vertically integrated company with 104 employees now. About 2.7 thousand square meters filled with modern equipment, and we have highly educated staff who works with that and help us to move our products to whole world. Also, we are growing few crystals here in Latvia. It's calcium bromide and natrium chloride. And we have all certificates to sell our products worldwide. Riga's facility revenue growing every year and almost doubled from 6 million to 12 million during US dollars during the last 5 years. About 20% of our products exported to US markets. The quality control. As we say, we measure what we produce. We sell our products to our customers only fully inspected. That gain us great reputation worldwide as a trustable supplier. Also, we are compliant to ITAR requirements and procedures. We have all necessary licenses got from US government and from Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Latvia to do, and we can do our business worldwide. There you can see our blue chip customers. A few of them well known in our country too: Yukon Advanced Optics, Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Airbus Space and Defense. All these companies well known in own segments, and we are proud to support their business with our infrared optics. Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Flemings, Bēdiķis, thank you very much for that presentation. It's really a nice high-tech company, very international also. Let's move on to our next speaker, and that is Mr. Arnis Petrānis. Mr. Petrānis.
Hello, good morning,
Welcome.
audience. I'm representing the company which is completely Latvian, and the ownership is local people, and we are exporting our products for all global the world. So it is more than 20 countries all around the world where we are installing our equipment with a brand name PERUZA and made in Latvia sign. So we are proud of this, and in some latest, we are in the market almost 30 years, and our experience in building the machines for food processing and especially for fish, it is based on our experience in Baltic area, on the Baltic fish, and we understood that we can go in further markets because our market is rather small. And now we are also found that it is similar fishes in Far East. Our projects in Asia are in Thailand, in Philippines, in China, and now this year we also stepped in Japan with expanding looks to Indonesia and some other countries in Pacific area. This is one sample of the factory where we installed some our automation. It is in Philippines, where was a lot of handwork, and now you see how it is different after installation of PERUZA equipment. Our equipment is also unique because we have our engineering sector, and we are making machines which are patent pending, so you can't find similar machines nowhere. Next findings, what we have found in China and Southeast area, we are different in our way of thinking and code of conduct. So the people in East thinks different. We didn't know this before we stepped in these markets. We are afraid of them, and they are afraid of us. It's the rule what we have to know when we are going there. There will be a fight for terms of the contract and its full implementation every time. It is a very regular situation that the companies in East don't accept contracts. They want to buy equipment under the order confirmations, and then you can face with different attitude from the customers. But of course it is some other things that we have to follow in these markets, and one of the main things why we are there, because you can see the fish from Baltics and fish from Japanese waters. So this is why we stepped in the market of Japan, which looks very automated when we started there, and we found that it is anyway possible to get in. Establishing business relationships and making decisions in Japan is very slow. It takes years for our presence there. It took 7 years. Exactly now we are importing one equipment in Japan, and Japanese customs are very slow to register equipment import. Just now we faced that it took 1.5 months to clear all the documents because the import procedures are not harmonized with European. And in Japan, it's very, very complicated to work when you have no good translator, because their English is very poor. I can communicate in Latvian in the same level as in English sometimes. And one interesting thing that in Japan, when you talk to some customers or specialists, and you can think, you must know that they will never say no, and it is very difficult to understand if this no sometimes means yes or no. This is some slides of our. Here you can see the picture of one workshop in Japan, which shows that the conditions in some of the workshops are almost the same like in Philippines or Thailand. So not everything is very automatized. So we have a chance to be there and export our equipment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Petrānis. That's also very useful information, and also especially on the cultural aspects as well. There's so much differences, especially when you go into Asia. And one of the things also that you mentioned is take your time, because it is doing business outside Europe. There sometimes can take, it's a very long process to actually establish your business. In fact, we are going to stay in Asia. We're going to stay in Japan. Our next speaker is Mrs. Alina Aščepkova. Welcome. You are from the LIAA office, and are you live from Japan?
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm live from Japan. Greetings from Tokyo. I'm very happy to be present at this forum today. I'll try to briefly introduce some specific features of the Japanese market and current trends. They were also greatly covered by the previous speakers, so I will not go deep into the business culture and some specific cultural features, but to give an overall.
Excuse me, could you switch to the full screen, please? Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Should be all right now. Yeah. So although the Japanese economy has been stagnating for recent years, it is the world's third economy and a market of 126 million people. And this, as you see on this slide, on the right side of the slide, some certain regions of Japan their economy is equivalent to the economies of the countries in the world. The market itself is very mature, and at the same time is very competitive, with lots of local players and of course global players here, which makes a certain high entry barriers for newcomers. Japan is a regional innovation center. If we speak about the Southeastern Asian region as itself, and a lot of technologies from Japan has been brought to the rest of this region. So in terms, if you come to Japan with your technologies and you build a strong presence in Japan, it's certainly a trademark, a quality trademark for your company, and opens up new possibilities in the region, not only in Japan. And Japan also has still has a lot of barriers to entry in the market. So language was mentioned already. Regulations still a barrier for companies from abroad. So having a local partner is a must here. The local partner knows the regulations, speaks the language, and knows the market rules. So it is the best option to enter the market. So Japan is known for its brands of automotive, consumer electronic industry, as we all know. But what is less known that up to 99% of companies actually are not big corporations. These are small and medium-sized companies called global niche talents, which have some specific unique technologies and are very essential players in the global quality chains. So building up partnerships and alliances with such companies will not only bring new opportunities for foreign companies in the Japanese market, but also opens up opportunities globally. Speaking about the recent trends, the Japanese companies are focusing on open innovation at the moment to optimize their current processes and also create new add-valued services and products. So the Japanese companies recently actively acquiring foreign and local startups. And due to the COVID-19 crisis, the Japanese government has launched a massive subsidy program for Japanese companies to relocate their supply chains, mainly from China to the Southeastern Asian countries and other locations in the world. If I touch upon the high demand industries, which will be popular in upcoming years, then this will be IoT, automation technologies, industrial robotics, mobility measurements and sensors, drone engineering. Why so? It is related mainly to the fact that Japanese society is super aging society, and Japan will be facing a labor force shortage in upcoming decades. It is said that the population of Tokyo will be over 60 years old. Half of the population will be 60 years old by 2050. So the companies need to optimize their manufacturing processes, optimize those, and move to the more digitalized and high technology manufacturing processes, which also opens opportunities for foreign and Latvian companies to provide their unique technologies to these Japanese companies. And I would like to end my presentation with one recent success story, which is related to the drone engineering, in fact. And it is about the Latvian company UAV Factory, which supplies the unmanned system technologies. They just recently launched a joint project with municipality of Fukushima Prefecture in Japan, which is known for their nuclear plant disaster, which happened 10 years ago. And the drones and their technology have been used to monitor the radiation level over the nuclear plant. So briefly, current export plans from Latvia to Japan. In fact, machine mechanical equipment, electronics, and also optical instrument sector have been steadily growing recently. We have a positive trade balance with Japan, as you see. And we also have a strong legal basis to fortify our further cooperation. And here I would like to focus on EU-Japan Economic Partnership Agreement, which is, generally speaking, a free trade agreement, and it will help actually it will facilitate trade between EU and Japan, and the import tariffs will be reduced up to 99% in a 10-year transition period. This will be all from my side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Aščepkova, for this great overview on the Japanese market. And then we are already moving on to our last speaker, which is Mr. Dainis Rācenis, International Project Manager of MASOC.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Dainis, can I give you the floor, please?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for inviting to share my experience dealing with Namibia. My name is Dainis Rācenis, and I do represent Association of Mechanical Engineering and Metalworking Industries, which is MASOC. And as my colleague Toms Greenfeld just told you some time ago, that we are an organization which is working for our members. And sometimes we are also working with international projects for our association members. And the project particularly I'm working with is SME ISIL, which is a European-funded Central Baltic project. And we're working together with the main partner, which is from SAMK, which is Satakunta University in Finland. And then we work also with Latvian Chamber of Commerce and also with Tallinn University of Technology and a company Pristech also from Finland. Thanks to our Finnish friends, we have got into this one. So Namibia, so just to remind where is it, so just as you can see down in the southern part of Africa, very far away, like more than 8,000 kilometers from here. Why Namibia? So just because it's sparsely density populated, I mean the lowest density of population just after Mongolia. So why Namibia? It's so far away, it's so only deserts probably. In fact, the Namibia, as we consider it, is a gateway to Southern African development community, which includes 16 countries and with 300 million inhabitants, which is a really emerging market, rapidly developing ports, infrastructure, and growing income for people. And we have been active also in markets of Zambia and South Africa, but that's a bit different story. So if we concentrate on Namibia, which is a steady economic growth since independence in 1990, which is quite similar to independence when we get it here in Latvia. It's a country which is rich with natural resources, which are minerals, gold, lithium, copper, diamonds. I have to say that not like so-called blood diamonds like in some other countries in Africa, but just the regular ones. Mining, tourism, fishing. The first country in the world, if we talk about deployment of uranium. Official language is English, which is much easier for us. What we could offer to Namibia. So we're working for ICT projects, for renewable energy, for solar, for instance, because they have more than 300 sunny days per year, automation. But of course, for them, in this case, not too much automation because they would like to have more work for the people instead of just put some robot in doing things. At the same time, many differences, like the country which is far away, the unfamiliar operational environment, culture, communication, logistics, distribution, things, of course, that's quite complicated, of course. But still, we were bringing companies from Latvia to the Namibian market. We were introduced them to Namibia, and then, of course, we brought them to Latvia just to see how we deal with things, what can we produce. Sometimes we also have had some fun with them, so we introduced them to ice hockey, for instance, so that was very nice. Partly, which is connected to our project, is just the Vice President of Namibia, Mr. Mgobo Mbumba, visited our country in last year, so we met in Latvian Chamber of Commerce. We have a number of projects for a number of companies that were initiated some time ago in Namibia, like for my colleague, like from PERUZA. They have a complete fish processing factory project, which is on the beginning. Regula Baltia, which is producing equipment for document authenticity control machines. They are already exporting to that region and also to Namibia. TTS, Transport Systems for Salt Factory, Recon for harbor equipment, Solar PV Latvia for solar energy projects, Givdilo Services, that's a new company, and we just started to introduce some management practices to the University of Namibia, particularly Agile and so on. So we have also 2 joint ventures established and many solutions offered. Of course, COVID has made a lot of differences at this time. Just trying to be very short, just kind of rephrasing the Chinese proverb, like every journey of 1,000 miles starts with a small first step, which is correct. And just to remind that, it's really a journey because it requires a lot of energy, a lot of money, a lot of work to explore new markets, but it always pay off. So, and if you would like to more about Namibian market or heading for Southern African markets, you can see the site link which goes to some publications what we have done about this market, and you are just free to contact our Association of Mechanical Engineering and Metalworking Industries or like myself, and will be happy to participate in different projects as far as it concerns that kind of going to new, maybe undeveloped or maybe different market, but we might go with our experience, and together I think it's worthwhile for all of us to go international markets. Yeah, I wish all of us success in this way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rācenis, on this presentation on Namibia. Very interesting also to hear that. It's, in my view, probably not the most easy country amongst the faraway countries, but as we hear, a lot of potential there as well. We've actually come to the last speaker. This was our last speaker, in fact, and we have some time for questions. In fact, I see that we have 19 minutes on the screen, which is quite a lot. Let me quickly go to the questions. I don't see any questions for now, but I actually have a question, and that is. And I don't know who will take the floor to answer this one. But what do you see as the role for trade fairs in doing business abroad? Is there anyone who wants to say something about that? Maybe also in the light of the COVID-19, we see that a lot of trade fairs in the world have been cancelled. A lot of trade fairs are actually transforming into digital events. Maybe you have experience in that. Who would like to say something about this? Is there any one of you who are actively at trade fairs? I see Mr. Lapins is.
Yeah, I'd be happy to speak about this. This has been a topic our company has wrestled with over a few years, even before COVID, because we saw, trade fairs, I'll rewind, say 15 years ago was a place where business leaders could meet, where they could meet with suppliers. It was, let's just say at the beginning of the internet. We now see that people can search out their needs, through purposes on the internet, and trade fairs, I think, lost a bit of relevance even in the last 5 years. They were places where we, personally, our company, felt like in some of our industries, we must attend. Otherwise, people question, why is Barry Wehmiller not there? Is something wrong? Yet, the meetings that we would gather, and I'm going back, say, 5 years ago, and the meetings that we would have, these were customers we already knew. And these were discussions that we already had. So in terms of us gathering new business leads, they became less and less relevant. And now you go to the times of COVID, and quite frankly, they're canceled. And so our marketing group has had to reinvent themselves very quickly. And we're seeing many, I'm going to call them virtual demos. And we can be much more focused on who we invite to these demos, where we would say, show a machine in a factory. We may not have been able to bring that machine to a trade show because of the size or the expense, but we can go to another facility and we can show these by virtual demo. So I'm seeing the shift from the cost of all of the travel, the cost of all of the setup of the trade show, shifting over to virtual marketing. And some of our other suppliers have done the same thing, and with great success, quite frankly, because we have a very focused, targeted audience, and then we can follow up with them. And these are, in fact, new leads, and you can guide what they see on the screen. They're not looking around and whatnot. Okay, yes. Those would be my comments. So I see that's what the trend I'm seeing.
Yeah, thank you. Very useful comments, in fact. And maybe in the future, what we probably will see is that trade fairs may become partly online and partly physical, like the more hybrid systems. We are from the Netherlands. We are looking very much into a trade fair that you probably all know, probably one of the biggest industrial trade fairs in the world, which is the Hannover Messe. and we are currently looking at together with them how how we are going to expose ourselves as the Netherlands. But it is very likely that there will be an element of a physical trade fair, but a lot of it will be also online. So something that we are having to look at closely and see where the opportunities are. But indeed, I am sure that things will change rapidly now. That's for sure. Is there anybody else maybe having an experience with trade fairs that they want to share?
If I may add from the Japanese side, well, in Japan, the trade shows play still a very important role. And I would say it's a part of the Japanese business culture, because the fact that you cross the world and you come to Japan and you present your product or service shows your intention, your strong intention to enter the market. And the Japanese potential partners value the fact that you want to meet them really, not online. So and all this COVID situation has created a very big problem at the moment for the organizers of these international trade shows, and it's a big pain for the Japanese companies because, as I said, they would like to meet their partners every year at the trade show and continue this long-term relationship that I have built, and also find new potential suppliers. So the Japanese trade organizers are moving to the hybrid and online type trade shows, but it will take time.
Yeah, so that's also maybe a little bit of a different view, and people do always there will always be a need, I think, for people to meet in real life, and we cannot expect that the whole doing business that it can be replaced by online. But I think that we are doing also in this event very well to meet and share and share knowledge. So it does at the same time work well. I'm going to have a look if there are any questions at the moment that are being asked. Please, if you have questions, we still have some time to go through them. Maybe another question that I have for the audience as well is, imagine that you are a company and you are looking for a market abroad outside Europe. How do you actually get to select such a market? Where do you start? Maybe where have you started? Is there anybody who would like to say how to actually make a beginning of developing contacts abroad and how to select a new market that is a good potential market for you? Who can I give the floor for that?
I can say about my experience that the most successful contact making is in trade shows. Yeah, but during this time when this COVID disease closed all the trade shows, we are working through the contacts what we have got before, and also with the learning of the situation, how is in different markets actually. So then it is a lot of investigations in some internet sources, and also communication with the people who are actually lives in these countries where we are focused. This is our experience, but trade shows are the must for good contact establishing.
Yeah, so trade fairs are indeed important, as you mentioned also. Maybe I have another question, and that is that what we see, and it was also mentioned today, in fact, that because the supply chains that we are seeing some problems with the supply chains, that there seems to be a trend for reshoring production from faraway markets back into Europe. We see this trend coming up quite strongly. In fact, in the Netherlands, that may also have some consequences. It may also have some opportunities for companies to produce again in Europe locally. Is there any of you who also see this trend, and maybe any of you that would like to say how they probably take the opportunities from that? Mr. Lapins? Yeah?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, we experienced a similar trend. Our business in North America, some of the North American-based customers also, and I don't know, I'm not going to speak of a particular example or a particular crisis that they had, but they shifted, and we won some orders that we would have expected to get from, or we would have expected to lose to Asian suppliers. And in Europe, for example, we saw another thing where one of our competitors, let's say, had their service team located in one city, yeah, and during the lockdown during COVID, let's say, for example, Northern Italy, okay, and where my service team was spread out across the EU, we were able to serve our customers much more easily, because we could take a person from the Netherlands and send them to Germany, or from Poland to send them to Germany, or from Germany to send to Austria, where we weren't in an area where we locked down. So that it sort of exposed some of our weaknesses in our business that weren't, frankly, recognized as weaknesses prior to that. But now, so we've had some learnings from this nearshoring as well. In each of our regions, they were different learnings.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself, but yes, great, thank you very much. I'm actually looking at the time now, and I see that we are slowly having to round off this this meeting. Let me maybe just ask just one very general question to all of you. Is there any specific tip you would like to give to the audience to round off? Is there anybody who would like to comment on that? Any specific suggestion that you would like to make to any company that would like to start abroad, about how to get help, maybe where to start?
So now,
please go ahead, Mr. Lapins. I see you.
I'm sorry, but
no, great.
Many of our panelists have touched on this, but I think the most important thing that we've learned over the years is to simply relax and adapt. You're going into a new market, you're going into a new culture, accept that fact, and don't try to force your culture into theirs. It's not going to be successful. It may be more comfortable to you, but you're going to be more successful by adapting. And
that also, yes, and so basically it also means that you do have to take the time. Don't expect miracles to happen overnight. You will need a lot of time for that.
Correct.
Okay. I think that's a very good end really to our to this presentation, ladies and gentlemen. We come now to the final. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed listening to these speakers, that you have learned things, or at least picked up some tips or tricks. And that we have inspired you to conquer the world with your business. I'm sure you will be helped by your foreign offices, especially the LIAA organization as well, to find your way abroad. It is all one step too far, but don't forget, you will find some very friendly, business-minded people also in the Netherlands. If you don't want to go too far, come to the Netherlands. We're always happy to come here and to do business with us, of course. To all the speakers, thank you very much. And I'm sure on behalf of the audience as well, for sharing your views on international business and giving your presentations. Rest me to say that stay safe and enjoy the rest of the program.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Paul Verlinden, for hosting this panel discussion, and thank you to all the panel members. Thank you very much.